wanted to see Mama. Say hi to the camera. Princess. Hi everyone! Today I'm pruning my David Austin shrub roses. Last year I added 3 David Austin Beirut roses to my garden. The Lady Gardener that has gorgeous apricot large blooms, Roald Dahl that has apricot blooms but a bit smaller, and also Wild Eve with beautiful light pink blooms. They're first year flowering, that means that they were first planted last year, they're 1 year old. Last year was the first blooming season and now it's their first prune. They're repeat flowering, so that means from now all the way to March is the right time to prune them. If you have once flowering roses that bloom in the summer, it's best to prune them right after they bloom. I garden in a USDA zone, growing zone 8 to 9, so we have quite mild winters. And right now, actually, in January, there's already a lot of new growth and buds forming, and it's important to prune the plants so that you can ensure a good show of flowers for the coming growing season. Before we start, let's have a look at how the roses grew in this past year. I ordered 3 English shrub roses and I was so excited, as it was my first time adding roses to the garden. I soaked the Beirut roses for a couple of hours before planting and used brand new terracotta pots that were large enough to sustain the roses. I sprinkled a bit of mycorrhizal fungi and backfilled with pre-moistened compost. So just 2 things to be aware of: center the rose in the pot, of course, and be careful about the height of the graft union. I made sure to keep the roses well watered, again, so that they would root in really quickly. And then the 1st of July, we got our first flush of blooms on the Lady Gardener. It was the first to bloom. I did have to treat for aphids, but that's okay, the problem subsided very quickly. I'm so pleased with these roses. They haven't skipped a beat, and actually the Lady Gardener was still flowering in November. Now, nearly a year later, it's time for the pruning. These are the supply I'm going to use for this project. My pruning book, just in case I want to double check something. Some gloves that can resist, those are leather, so they can resist the thorns. Some pruners, somewhere to put the rose cuttings, and also I'm going to use rubbing alcohol to disinfect the pruners. I'm going to disinfect the pruners. Ideally, I should be doing that. I should be more diligent about cleaning and disinfecting those pruners, just so that when you take care of several plants, you don't propagate any diseases or any insect problems or fungi, like anything at all. All right, all disinfected and ready to go. So normally we would take down to about 20-30 centimeters. This is a bit further down, but roses are very resilient. We're going to do a slanted cut. That means not like this, where the water would pool and would end up damaging the bud, but we're going parallel to the direction of the bud. So here the bud is facing that direction. So we put the pruners there, just a few millimeters above, and we do a nice clean cut, like so. This one is the biggest one. I'm going to take this one back down to the main stem. Back to the main stem and just cutting there. Now I'm taking down that small bit there. All right. an example of a branch that suffered from dieback. You can see it's all brown. This is the aftermath, the lady gardener after its haircut. That's actually the most floriferous for me. Roald Dahl, also a lot of smaller blooms. And then on the other side, Wild Eve. Between January and the end of March is a great time to add bare root roses to your gardens. This way they can break dormancy whilst being already established where they will grow. And also bare root roses are typically a little bit less expensive than pre-potted ones. I published a video on my channel last year about planting roses in containers specifically, but the method would be the same to plant in the ground, so I'll link it below if you're interested. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye! I may be adding one more David Austin rose, a climber. I'm not sure exactly if I can fit it, so I'll let you know.